Hey YouTube, welcome back. My name is Oliver Jan. In case you're new here, I love to talk about all things personal finance. In today's video, I'm going to go over the investments that I'm making in my dollar to baller project. I'm not sponsored by M1, but I did find them to be a very useful platform to host this project on. M1 is essentially just a brokerage account where you can buy stocks through them, and what they allow you to do is set like certain allocations to certain stocks, and then every week it will try to put in your deposits and fill in those allocations as you set. You'll see more as I show my portfolio. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So this is my YouTube portfolio that I've been building over time since November 9th. And what you can see here is the first month or so, I've invested about $100 a week. Then the second month, I'd put in $102. I did make a mishap here because I was pretty new to M1. Made up for that mishap on the following week. Then after this month, I increased it by 2% to $104.04, so on and so forth. So currently we're in the fifth month right now, and I am now at $108.24. I just wanted to show a little bit about what I've been investing in. Just to give you a general update. So I'm now on the first week of the fifth month. I've lost this much, and I've also lost this much as well. So this has not been very pleasant as an investor, and I wish it was like going to the moon right now, but can't always be winners in this market. I thought this transparency would be helpful. So what I've been investing in, I really love ETFs. So 50% of my portfolio is set to VTI. This is the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. Covers roughly 4,500 plus companies. It gives you very good diversification into the US stock market. Of course, after that, I have like Tesla, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Facebook, or Meta pretty soon, Intel, AMD, Square, AbbVie, Shopify, JP Morgan, Unity, Roblox, and Airbnb. That was quite a song of stocks. Essentially, each of these stocks, there is some, inherent risk for me to hold these individual holdings. I don't necessarily have to do that. I could just hold 100% VTI and call it a day. But I think for the purpose of YouTube and having some education, I think that exposing myself to individual stocks is probably not the worst thing. This might come back to bite me in the future. Tesla, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, these are pretty highly volatile companies which have had a somewhat decent track record so far. So I'm not actually too afraid of the volatility at this point. Then here's my losses so far. It's been very abysmal. My only winner so far has been AbbVie, surprisingly. So this is the pharmaceutical company which pays a good dividend. I wish I could have more green, No one goes into investing hoping they lose money, of course. So I guess part of the reason why I started this account is just to show like what actually happens behind the scenes. Behind like every win, you're going to have several losses. And for every bull market, you're going to have a bear market and some corrections along the way. So this is where we're at. But, story is still the same. I'm going to keep investing every week. Nothing is going to change my path here unless something fundamentally changes, like if I were to, for instance, lose my job. Everything held constant. As long as I have a job and I have some income, I will continue to invest in this project. So now that you've seen my portfolio and you've seen like the losses and devastation that have happened in the stock market, I want to share a little bit about like how I handle such volatility. The stock market is very, very volatile. We have inflation on one end. We also have a geopolitical war happening in Ukraine and Russia. I will say my heart goes out to everyone that's been affected by this. It's been devastating to see, but nonetheless, there is a tremendous amount of fear and volatility now because of this event. It's going to have ripple effects throughout the entire stock market. So I would say my best piece of advice in terms of these situations is to just not do anything. It probably sounds like a lame thing to say, but it actually is probably the most prudent thing you can do. I'll give you an example. Let's say you had a magic ball and you could predict exactly when the stock market would bottom so that you knew exactly when to sell and when to buy back in. Now the question is, do you have that magic ball? Most of us don't. In fact, I don't think anyone in this world does. So if you could do that, then I would absolutely say yes, time the market then. But for most of us, we don't have that crystal ball to be able to time the market perfectly. And for those people that are going to sell and try to buy back in, I know exactly what that feels like, and I will tell you this. You will always think it will keep going lower, and it will probably never feel like it's truly the bottom until it's way past the bottom and all the way back up already. Try not to time the stock market. If you try to time the stock market, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to mistime the stock market and you're going to miss whatever bounce or whatever bull market occurs afterwards because you think it's going to continue to drop. I've fallen victim to this in the past when I first started investing. I tried to call the bottom during the pandemic and I failed miserably. I didn't sell anything, but I did try to time my buys to match the bottom, and of course, no one can do that. I would say one of the best things that you can do instead of like selling is to just continue to buy. Buy throughout all the volatility, buy throughout all of the ebbs and the flows of the market, regardless of if it's up or down. And I think that's part of the reason why I started dollar to baller as well. I wanted to showcase that this behavior of the dollar cost averaging throughout the market is actually pretty beneficial. It might not look like it right now, as you can tell with my portfolio down by like 17%, but hopefully in time that will get better and we'll be able to have a nice laugh about this in the future. So yeah, I just wanted to recap that. The one thing that you should do is to definitely just keep buying. The other thing that you should not do is worry and sell and hope to buy back in at a lower price and try to time the market. You know what they call this is they call this catching a falling knife. When you catch the knife at some point, when you eventually buy back in, what's going to happen? You're just going to cut yourself. And that, my friend, is no way to go. Okay, so I've belabored this long enough, and I just wanted to share real quick what exactly I'm doing, what investments I'm making, just to give some social proof, and also just to be clear about like some of the tips that I have with regards to investing. So these are very basic. If you have any questions or have any advanced questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. And like always, keep investing, keep raking in that dough. Alrighty, until next time, I'll see you in the next video.